The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Week 16 Injury Report and updated rankings. If you want to get into a draw for $20 DK dollars, like the episode, smash that button so hard your screen breaks. Then, I probably don't want that because then you're going to need more than 20 DK bucks to repair that screen. But either way, hit the like button, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section, and tell me on the Millionaire Maker slate on DraftKings this week, which defense you would play. Because it's a spread out across the board, and I'm really wondering which defense that I should play. I have some thoughts on that. That'll be on Saturday's show with Jeff Ulrich when I break down the entire DK ownership and pivot plays for the slate. Defense is kind of confusing, so which one are you going with in Week 16 on DraftKings? Also, next week, Christmas week, Monday, I got a new show. It's a PGA Tour preview with Feinberg. On Christmas Day, it's a Custy Christmas. Cuss Corner 16 will be dropping with Gary and myself. Week 17 rankings on Wednesday. On Thursday, the Spread Pick'em show and the Week 17 DraftKings picks. Next Friday, we'll have UFC mixed in there as well. So we're not going to leave you high and dry when you got nothing to do when people are away on holidays. Other people will not be producing shows, but the Pat Mayo Experience and the DK Live team, we got your back. Let's get into the injuries. We'll start with the Saturday games. Keenan Allen will likely play. We don't know if he's going to be a decoy or not, but if you got Keenan Allen, you're probably going to play Keenan Allen. Melvin Gordon will play. Austin Eckler has been ruled out for that game. You fire up Melvin Gordon for the first time in weeks. If you survive this far without him playing Justin Jackson or picking up Damian Williams, whatever it may be, you're going to want to play, even in a tough matchup. It's hard to see Justin Jackson really cutting into the workload of Melvin Gordon. He's missed all this time. They got him back in a game that they need to win. Expect 80+% of the snap share and all that work in the receiving game and all that goal line work. He's a top 10 running back for me this week. And again, you can check out the rankings that are in the description of the show, in the comment section, or up on dkplaybook.com. The Rams, this is a tough one. Todd Gurley is a game-time decision in the late set of games, nonetheless. So Justin Davis, one of the backups, is likely going to miss this game with a shoulder injury. So the Rams have gone out and signed CJ Anderson. I just assumed John Kelly would be the one to step into this role if Todd Gurley was to sit, but now reporters are coming out to say that CJ Anderson is going to be the starter. I legit have no idea what to do here. I think that you play CJ Anderson because they would say he's the starter, but I don't know if I'd want to go down that way. If Gurley is active, you probably have to play him unless somehow you've put together 3 of the top 10 running backs. Then all of a sudden, you know what? You can just say, Todd Gurley, you're going to have to go to the bench. I'm not going to wait around for this decision to be made for me because we could see a situation where Gurley plays the first 2 series, they get up by 14 points, and all of a sudden, Todd Gurley is out of the game. So there is no floor. There is no trust factor as it pertains to Todd Gurley. But these other 2, who knows? It's a great spot. We know that. Arizona sucks, especially against the run, but I think I'd still go John Kelly over CJ Anderson, to be perfectly honest with you. He knows the system. He's been there all year. I find it hard to imagine you just pick up some guy off the street and he knows all the pass protection coverages. Maybe they're just like, screw this. We're just going to run the ball 30 times up the gut. CJA, go nuts. We don't care if you get hurt or not, but it's a really tricky situation in the fantasy championship, so hopefully you have alternative options. I wish I could tell you what to do, but I frankly do not know, and anyone who does is likely lying to you. But if Gurley plays, you're probably going to end up playing him. I've dropped him down from number 1 to, I think it's number 12 in the running back rankings. And even then, it's not so safe. Like if you want to play like a Chris Carson over him, I don't hate that. That's someone you could actually pivot onto from the later set of games. That it's just a really tricky situation. It's unenviable. But hey, you're in the fantasy championship if you're still watching this show. So that's good news. You're going to get paid either way. So hopefully you can make the right decision and maybe get a little bit lucky and come through in your matchup. In Atlanta, Julio Jones is going to play. So is Austin Hooper. No worries there. Carolina, Cam is sat down for the season. Taylor Heineke, or whatever the hell his name is, he's starting. He can't be worse than the injured Cam was. So, I mean, I've bumped down all the Carolina receiving options. I think Ian Thomas might actually get a bit of a bump in this spot, only because when you have a backup quarterback, they tend to have a lot of experience with all the backup players on the team through training camp, through the preseason. And we know that Ian Thomas was a backup to Greg Olsen entering the year, so they might have a bit of a rapport, but that's pure speculation. I'm not going to bump down Christian McCaffrey, though. He is a must-play as always. San Francisco, Matt Breida, he gonna play. It's a terrible matchup, but every time that he's questionable, as Seeley says, it's a week to play Matt Breida. It's not a great spot, but he's going to be inside the top 25 of my running backs this week anyway. Play him if you got him. The Giants, Odell Beckham out. Russell Shepard likely going to be out, which means we're going to have Sterling Shepard on the outside, a mix of Corey Coleman and Benny Fowler on the other side, and then Evan Engram in the slot. Evan Engram is a absolute smash play now, who has really exceeded expectations anytime that Odell Beckham sits. So you play Evan Engram. He's a top 5 tight end for me. The rest of them, take him or leave him. Sterling Shepard's probably the only one you would consider playing, and frankly, when Beckham is out, not that great. So, and it's a tougher matchup against the Colts as well. So I wouldn't put a lot of faith into him, but if you have to roll him out, you can. Kansas City, Spencer Ware is doubtful. Great news for Damian Williams. You know what? I would play Damian Williams over Todd Gurley. If Todd Gurley is even a little bit, just the rumors are that he's not going to play because of the great spot for Damian Williams. He's number 11 in my running back rankings right now. That excludes Spencer Ware. I would not expect him to play. Doubtful says about as much as you can do. So that's what you have to go with. Very few players play when they've been listed as doubtful. So Damian Williams is at RB1 for the week. Darrell Williams has popped into the top 50 in running backs, but are you really going to play Darrell Williams in your fantasy championship? No, you're not. So don't even think about that. Sammy Watkins will also miss this game for the Kansas City Chiefs. On the Seattle side of the ball, Rashad Penny is questionable. No word on if he's going to go yet, although Seattle did sign Bo Scarborough this week, giving them a bit of running back insurance. I love this for Chris Carson, especially what he can do in the passing game. Mike Davis is still going to play, but you could probably pencil in Chris Carson for 20-plus touches. That makes him a fringe RB1 for the week in a really nice spot against a terrible Kansas City run defense. And we know the way that you can get to Kansas City, continuously run the ball, milk the clock, extend drives that way, because you can, and keep their offense off the field. I can tell you that is exactly what Seattle is going to try to do in the Sunday night game, and Chris Carson's going to be the biggest benefactor of that. In Houston, DeAndre Hopkins is going to play, Keke Coutee is not going to play, and Lamar Miller looks like he's going to be active. Not a lot of trust with Lamar Miller, but DeAndre Hopkins is my numero uno wide receiver of the week. He'll also be the second highest owned receiver likely on DraftKings and the highest owned of all the high price guys. Pittsburgh, James Conner has been ruled out, so fire up some more Jalen Samuels, especially in the passing game this week. Even against a tougher run defense with New Orleans, this is what Samuels is there for, to catch some passes. So I'm not worried about him whatsoever. He put up 180 yards without a touchdown last week. He is locked in. If he gets those goal line touches, backdoor your way into a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown, you're looking at a potential top 5 running back for the week. But the floor is there. You play him. Juju Smith-Schuster dealing with a groin injury. It does look like he will play, but I've scaled him back a little bit in the rankings because I worry about this groin and his explosiveness. It was a really nice spot. I don't know who you turn to. Is it Eli Rogers? Is it James Washington? The Switzer? Obviously, Antonio Brown is someone you're going to play, but I don't know how the rest of the targets are going to be divvied up if Juju is either a decoy or not 100%. I think you still have to play him as a top 15 option just because of his upside and how much he is used, especially on the road in the red zone, but it's not the safest of all plays, but that upside is enough to keep him in your lineups. Tampa Bay, Deshaun Jackson, he's going to be back. That kills Chris Godwin. They'll go back to splitting time on the outside, but Hump Daddy, Adam Humphries, might be in the best spot of all of the Tampa Bay receivers, so I would have Humphries as the only one after Evans as a play this week. Cameron Brate, also not so bad. In New England, Josh Gordon, obviously you already know the news on him. He is not going to play. Chris Hogan will start playing over 90% of the snaps, but when he did that, when Julian Edelman had returned earlier this season, he did absolutely nothing. So you can't play Chris Hogan. You're not going to play Cordero Patterson. Edelman and Gronk are the only 2 members of that receiving game that you're going to play against the Bills this week. Detroit, Bruce Ellington is out. LeGarrette Blount is probably going to play. Same as Stafford. Same as Kenny Golladay. I would expect those 3 to be in, but Andy Jones will continue to patrol the slot along with Brandon Powell. You probably don't want to start either one of those guys. Nice spot for Golladay if he is a go, which I expect him to be. Probably going to see double-digit targets. Even in a tougher matchup against Xavier Rhodes, he's been limited to and taken advantage of this year, to be perfectly honest with you. I know that Detroit plays slow, but they're underdogs at home in this game. It could be a lot of passing volume. Do not be scared of Kenny G around Christmas time. You're going to be playing it on the CD and playing them in your lineups. Hopefully, it goes better than the music that is coming out of your CD player. If people still own CD players, I don't think they do. Buffalo, LaShawn McCoy and Chris Ivory likely to be back. You're not going to start either one of those duds. McCoy, if you had to in that circumstance. But if you drafted LaShawn McCoy, chances are you're not in the fantasy playoffs unless you gave up on him after like week 1, which was the move. Washington, this is sneaky. Vernon Davis out with a concussion. Jordan Reed out with a toe injury. That means the sprinkler, Jeremy Sprinkle, will be starting at tight end. Caught a touchdown last week. I have him at number 16 in my tight end rankings. If you need a tight end to roll out there, he is a no lock to score more than 0 points. Trust me on that one. It's not a great spot, but he is someone who's going to be on the field for around 80% of the snaps. And with Josh Johnson, we've already seen him used in the red zone. That it is live. He's probably the best play of any of the receiving options on the Redskins in Tennessee, which is not saying much, but he probably is the best one. Arizona, Chad Williams looks like he'll return this week. Trent Sherfield is probably going to return this week. Ricky Seals-Jones is dealing with an illness. He's probable. You don't want to play any of those losers. Cincinnati, Joe Mixon's going to be in. John Ross is going to be in. Tyler Boyd is going to be out. Only Mixon for me as guys you want to consider. If you want to take a gamble on John Ross, that's up to you. I probably wouldn't do it. Quincy Enunwa is out for the New York Jets. Robbie Anderson is slated to be the highest owned player on DraftKings in the Week 16 Millionaire Maker. It's come to this. I haven't decided yet whether I'm playing him in 100% or 0%, but that's just a game theory play. In your season-long formats, he's a top 20 option. You play him. The pivot play off him would probably be Jermaine Kearse because he'll just be on the field, but we know how playing Jermaine Kearse has worked out. Trust me, I know. Not well. Chris Herndon is another option you could use from the Jets receiving game if you really wanted to and are desperate at tight end. I do like Herndon more than I like someone like the Sprinkler, for that matter, or Ian Thomas. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is going to play. Randall Cobb is likely to be out. So just play some Devontae Adams, play some Jamal Williams because Aaron Jones has been placed on IR. Go for that. Tennessee, Marcus Mariota will play this week on Saturday against the Washington Redskins. We're not quite sure about Taja Sharp yet. If you wanted to get super sneaky, and this is more of a DraftKings option or a showdown option, Tywan Taylor was seeing a lot of snaps with Taja Sharp banged up. Used a lot early on in that game against the Giants last week, and then they got up and ran the ball a million times. If they have to pass in this game, Tywan Taylor could be someone that has substantial upside in this matchup against Washington. But again, the floor is 0, so don't put a whole lot of faith into it. Very cheap on DraftKings, someone that you could potentially use if Taja Sharp is either going to be limited or completely ruled out of that opening Saturday night game. Frank Gore out for the Miami Dolphins as well. Kalen Ballage will likely start. Kenyon Drake will be mixed in, but who knows what's going on, and it's a terrible matchup. Don't put a whole lot of faith into it. If you had to use one, Ballage would be the play, but I would hope to avoid that situation. That's it for the injury report for the Pat Mayo Experience 2018 season. I hope it has been informative for you. Just information on this one, and all the rankings will be updated after the show tomorrow on Saturday, and then again on Sunday after we do the live show, 10 a.m. Eastern time, on all DraftKings networks, on my Twitter, on my Facebook, my Periscope. You can check it all out there and ask your questions around the 11 o'clock hour, and we will have all the updated injuries for you. Good luck in your fantasy championships. If you want to get in the draw for 20 DK bucks, like the episode, leave your DraftKings handle. Tell me which defense you're playing on the Millionaire Maker slate in Week 16. Maybe you can win your fantasy championship and $1 million. Wouldn't that be a nice Christmas? I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!